you are well known for your book and the scheme and your observations on the court and the long game that the Republicans have played to quote unquote capture the Supreme Court. There is, of course, a conservative supermajority on the court currently. And I just want to talk to you a little bit about what you're seeing now. I know you are you have done a lot of conversations and discussions about the scheme that you see still happening. Can you talk a little bit about what's going on with the court these days?
Sure. There's been a really considerable move into alignment with my views. The reason I wrote the scheme is that people were not accepting my view that this was a captured court, that special interests had basically moved in and taken over a considerable number of the justices and now controlled the court. So this was the proof. Here's how they did it. Here's all the evidence. It's been out for a few years now, and it has not been taken apart by the other side. If I were making it up, I would think there would have been a really considerable effort to discredit the book. But not only has it stood the test of time, but more and more, the key court watchers have moved into alignment with my views. And now, you look at people like Jane Mayer, Dahlia Lithwick, Ruth Marcus. They are pretty harsh about Jennifer Rubin's another very good one. They're pretty harsh about this court, and they use language like captured and corrupted. So I think the biggest single thing has been the shift from people thinking, oh, okay, this is a court that just became more conservative, to understanding that that is not true. This is one of the least conservative courts we've ever had. What it is captured and doing very much what it's told by big special interests.
And that is an interesting word that you've been using when you talk about capturing the court, because for a long time, the courts weren't seen as a power source in the government. And now they are at the center of every political aspect, whether it's the executive branch, legislative branch, and the power that they've been wielding is sort of unprecedented. Now, you've talked about the fact like a lot of Democrats and other observers want some sort of Supreme Court reform, but at this point, it is sort of an uphill battle. What are the challenges? What are the opportunities for a binding ethics code? Or even, Representative Ocasio-Cortez had talked about even impeachment. Can you speak about a little bit the options from the progressive side of what can be done to reverse what you guys see as a super conservative court?
Well, super captured court, I would say. The fundamental problem here is that the big interests and the creepy right-wing billionaires who have captured the court are also the biggest funders of the Republican Party. They're the ones behind the big Republican super PACs. If you dig through their efforts to hide their donations, you find them. And there's probably a lot more to be known. So Republicans are not going to take away from their big funding billionaires the prize that they captured of the Supreme Court. So in order to get things done, we're going to need to have some political control in order to pursue legislative and investigative strategies. And I would say two things. The first is that if we win the House has the ability to do really significant investigations like the January 6th investigation and to issue subpoenas that the House can enforce so they can get actual testimony from people who were involved in the scheme to capture the court. We've tried that in the Senate, but in the Senate, you can filibuster enforcement of a subpoena. And the Republicans have told the world, don't worry about complying with these subpoenas. We will filibuster enforcement efforts. So that has to be on the House side. And if by chance we win the trifecta, so we have House, Senate, and a president who will sign the bills into law, I think the two key pieces of legislation are the Supreme Court ethics bill, which is very simple and straightforward and aligned with what every other state Supreme Court does, what every other federal court does, and then the term limits bill to begin to refresh the court and decapture it.